That easygoing personality of yours, it might not be a personality, it might be a wound that learned to talk. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to look back at your entire life differently. We all have that one friend who's just chill, never gets upset, never makes a big deal out of anything. We call that a personality trait, easygoing, low maintenance, relaxed. But here's what nobody tells you. A lot of the traits we proudly call just who I am were never personality at all. They were survival strategies, built when you were small, scared, or unsupported, that worked so well, they fossilized into identity. And the wildest part, the more you something feels, the less likely you've ever questioned it. Today I'm breaking down 7 of these, and I guarantee at least one is going to hit way too close to home. Number 5 especially. People always message me after that one. Let's go. Sign number 1. The people pleaser. I'm just nice. You say yes when you mean no. You apologize for things that aren't your fault. You can read a room's mood before you even sit down. You call this being nice, a good person, easy to get along with. What it might actually be, the fun response if you grew up where conflict was dangerous, a volatile parent, an unpredictable home, your nervous system learned a rule early: keep everyone calm, and you stay safe. So you got really, really good at it. Good enough that it stopped feeling like a strategy. It started feeling like you. Nice people exist, of course, but ask yourself this. Do you say yes because you want to, or because the thought of saying no makes your stomach drop? That gap is the tell. Sign number 2, the overachiever. I'm just ambitious, straight A's, promotion after promotion. You can't relax unless you've earned it. Everyone calls you driven, disciplined, a hard worker. What it might actually be, conditional worth. If love or approval in your childhood came with strings attached, good grades equals good kid, mistakes equals disappointment. You may have learned that your value isn't a given. It's something you have to keep proving. So, achievement stopped being about ambition. It became about not disappearing. Rest started to feel dangerous, because rest means you're not earning your place, and that can be a difficult feeling to overcome. Real ambition feels expansive. This kind of ambition feels like running from something. Which one is yours? Sign number 3. The hyper-independent one. I just don't need anyone. You'd rather struggle alone than ask for help. Asking feels almost physically uncomfortable. You pride yourself on never being a burden. Everyone calls you strong, mature, low maintenance. What it might actually be, learn distrust. Somewhere along the way, maybe people let you down. Maybe you were the one taking care of everyone else. You learned that needing someone is a setup for disappointment. So you built a life where you never have to find out. And that can be a lonely path. This one's sneaky, because independence looks like strength from the outside, but strength has options. This doesn't. This is a closed door, not an open choice, and it's worth considering what that means for you. Sign number 4, the funny one. I'm just the comic relief. You crack a joke the second things get tense. You can't sit in an awkward silence without filling it. People say you light up every room. What it might actually be is deflection. Humor is one of the fastest ways to defuse a threatening moment, and if you grew up in a house where tension meant danger, you may have become the family's emotional fire extinguisher before you were even 10 years old. The tell, notice what happens the second a conversation turns serious about you. If the jokes get faster and louder, right when the spotlight lands on your feelings, that's not comic timing, that's an exit strategy. Okay, quick pause. Notice something. Every single one of these traits is something people compliment you for. Nice, driven, strong, funny. That's exactly why they're so hard to see. Trauma responses that get praised never get questioned. Nobody stages an intervention for someone who's too easygoing. We've covered 4. The next one is the one I get the most messages about because it disguises itself as a gift. Don't go anywhere. Sign number 5, the old soul. I'm just intuitive. You always know when someone's upset before they say a word, and you can read a shift in tone from across the room. People call you wise beyond your years, an old soul. What it might actually be is hypervigilance if you grew up scanning a caregiver's face to predict their mood, because their mood determined whether the day was safe. Your nervous system built an early warning radar. That radar never fully switches off. It's not a spiritual gift. It's a smoke detector that's been going off so long, you forgot it was ever installed for a fire. Real intuition feels calm. This kind of intuition feels like a low hum of alertness that never quite turns off, even in rooms with nothing wrong in them. Sign number 6, the conflict avoider. I'm just not a confrontational person. You'd rather let something slide than bring it up. You replay arguments in the shower that never happened because you'd rather rehearse the conflict than have it. You call yourself easygoing, low drama, chill. What it might actually be is a learned belief that conflict equals loss of safety, of the relationship, of love itself. So your body routes around it entirely, no matter the cost to you. Here's the test. Chill people can disagree and still feel fine 5 minutes later. If disagreement feels like the relationship is now at risk, that's not chill. That's fear wearing a calm face. Sign number 7, the over-explainer. You think you're just thorough. You can't just say, I can't make it. You have to give the reason, and a backup reason. You reread texts 5 times before sending, bracing for how they'll be received. You call this being thoughtful, detail-oriented, considerate. What it might actually be is anticipating judgment before it happens. If you were once punished, mocked, or dismissed for your reasons, you learn to armor every statement in advance. Just in case, the explaining isn't really for them. It's a shield for you. Last one, emotional numbness. You think you're just logical. You don't really do emotions. You're the rational one, the one who stays calm when everyone else is falling apart. Sometimes that's just temperament, but sometimes calm isn't peace. It's disconnection. A nervous system that learned, long ago, that feeling too much wasn't safe, so it quietly turned the volume down, permanently. Here's the thing I need you to sit with. None of this means you're broken. Every single one of these started as something brilliant, your mind protecting you with the only tools it had at the time. The goal isn't to hate these traits or rip them out. It's just to ask one honest question. Is this who I am or who I had to become? That question alone changes everything. If even one of these landed, tell me which one in the comments and subscribe, because next week I'm covering the trauma response almost nobody talks about, the one that looks exactly like confidence. I'll see you in the next one.